Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. I need to make more refrigerator pickles, so I thought I would bring you guys along with me and show you how I do it. First thing that we're gonna do is get our liquid started. So we're gonna do 5 cups of white vinegar and 5 cups of water. It doesn't matter how many cups you use, just depending on how big of a batch you wanna do, but I always do a 1-to-1 ratio of white vinegar and water. Okay, that's our 5 cups of water. So now we'll measure out the vinegar. The other ratios that I have found work well for me is however many cups you're using of each vinegar and water, you're going to use just as many tablespoons of pickling salt. So we did 5 cups each, so I'm gonna do 5 tablespoons of pickling salt. And this is a half tablespoon measure, so you're gonna see me put 10 of these in. I just can't find my tablespoon measure. And then we're gonna take that same number of cups of vinegar and water that we put in, and we're gonna halve it, and that's how many teaspoons of sugar we'll put in. So we put 5 cups in, so I'm gonna do 2.5 teaspoons of white sugar. We're just gonna put the heat on to relatively high. We want it to come up just barely to a simmer, to a boil. Really all we're doing is just incorporating the sugar and the salt into the water. In the meantime, while this is heating up, I'm gonna slice up my cucumbers. We actually just grabbed 7 pounds of pickling cucumbers out of the garden yesterday. So the majority of those are gonna be used here, but I don't think all of them, because I only grabbed 6 pint jars to use, so I don't think that all 7 pounds are gonna fit in those 6 jars. I'm actually thinking about trying to dehydrate the rest of them. I've read on a lot of Facebook groups lately that everyone loves dehydrated cucumber chips. So for everyone's own knowledge, it took 9 pickling cucumbers to fill 5 pint jars. I just measured it out in a pint jar every time I sliced one up, and I came out to 9 total cucumbers. And I also wanted to show you, so the size of a pickling cucumber, at least the Boston pickling cucumber, when it is ready, when it's ripe, is usually about 4 to 6 inches or so. I am not using these bigger ones in with the pickles because these tend to be on the bitter side. So you can see this one is pretty big. This one below is pretty big as well. Let me grab a normal size. So like this is a pretty normal size pickling cucumber. These are pretty massive. So they're overripe at this point. They're probably bitter. Okay, our liquid just came to a boil. So I'm just gonna give it a quick whisk. It's all incorporated. I turn the heat off, and I'm gonna take it off of the heat, and I'm actually gonna let this cool down for a while, probably at least an hour or so. I don't like pouring the hot liquid over the cucumbers because it just tends to cook them a little bit. So I want it really nice and just warm. I mean, really down to almost 100 degrees or so. So that way when you pour it over the cucumbers, you can then just let everything really cool off and then throw it in the fridge afterwards. In the meantime, while it's cooling off, I'm gonna get my garlic cut up as well. So, funny story, the first time I ever made refrigerator pickles, I used too much garlic. And I know, there's no such thing as too much garlic, believe me. I totally agree. I put in everything. I put far more than a recipe calls in anything that I make. But when you're making pickles, there totally is a thing as too much garlic. They were so spicy And I might have put in too many peppercorns as well, but let me tell you, I think I put like 2 to 2.5 cloves of garlic in each jar. Oh my goodness, almost inedible. And I say almost because I did eat a good amount of them, but you just can't sit down and eat a jar like I normally would sit down and eat a jar of pickles, no problem, as like a snack at 9 o'clock at night. But these, holy moly, you could barely eat one without running to grab a drink. So we're only gonna use 1 clove of garlic in each pint, and we're actually, once we get the skin and everything off of it, we're just gonna smash it really good with a knife. We're not gonna, you know, cut it up into chunks. We're not gonna mince it or anything. We just wanna smash it so that it releases all of that good flavor, and then we'll put the whole clove right in the jar. So before I smash them, I'm just gonna chop the head, I don't really know what it's called, but the top of it, like the woody part, I'm just gonna cut that off. And then to smash it, like I said, we're just going to take a clove. I mean, get it so that it's kind of sitting on a side so you don't slip with the knife. And then we're just going to apply pressure with our palm. Smash. These are actually really good sized cloves. These are all pretty big. So that's the entire smash. I'm probably gonna use a little over half of it. I don't want not enough, but I also don't want too spicy pickles. So I only ended up smashing 5 of them, and I kind of just divvied them up into what I thought looked like a good amount. Guys, I almost forgot the dill. We can't have pickles without dill. So we're just gonna run out and grab some. I just got about a handful, and we'll divvy that up among the jars. Crisis averted, we got our dill, so I'll just chop that up really quick. What I do with my dill is I just go ahead and break with my hands the stems off, so like the woody parts, and then all of this I'll just chop up. It's only been just a little while, but I'm going to give my water a check, a temperature check. Yeah, so it's still about 140. I want it to come down, like I said, probably to around 100 degrees. So we'll just let this stuff stay right here. I'm gonna do some dishes and some cleaning, and then we'll be back in a little while. Okay guys, it's been about an hour or so. I scooted you in real close so you can see what I'm doing. We're gonna fill the jars with all of the ingredients and then top it off with our water, vinegar, salt, sugar mixture. So the only ingredient that we didn't talk about were the black peppercorns. So we're using whole black peppercorns. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of them in each pint jar. I like to add all of my ingredients other than the cucumbers first and then fill the jar with cucumbers. I don't think it matters which way you do it. Now I'm going to get the garlic in each jar. And a small bunch of dill. Okay, now we're gonna fill each jar with our cucumbers. And I do like to really pack them down in there. Let's see what I'm doing. Okay, so I have a good handful of cucumbers left over, so I'm just gonna pack them kind of into the jars where I think there's room. I think that's probably as good as we're gonna get, so let's go ahead and get the water in. Now, I tend to do two different things just depending on how I'm feeling. I take a small measuring cup. This is a 2-cup measuring cup, so I'll just kind of dip it into the water and pour it right into the jars, or I'll use a canning funnel and I will ladle it in. Since these are packed pretty well, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the measuring cup. The canning funnel is much better for when you're doing actual canning, water bath or pressure canning, because it just makes sure that you don't make a mess. It's totally fine if I make a mess with this. If I get the liquid running down the sides of the jars, I'm just gonna wipe it off, no problem. They're going in the fridge anyways, so not a big deal. Now, what I am gonna do is probably take out anything. You see like that top one that's sticking out. I'm probably gonna take that out if it's not in the liquid. I'll try using just a small mini spatula to kind of debubble and get everything down. But if it's still sticking up once I do that, I'm just gonna take it out. I actually bought a bunch of these little mini spatula type tools at Marshall's, and I have loved them for debubbling. They also work really well for mixing up my sourdough that I keep in a quart-sized mason jar. So we're going to just kind of see if we can't push this stuff down. Okay. It's definitely better than it was, so I'm actually just gonna add just a touch more liquid and I think we'll be good. Okay, so I just topped off where I thought they needed it, but at this point we're pretty good. The liquid is pretty well cool. None of these jars feel really even remotely warm to the touch. So I think we're good to throw the lids on. And we'll get these in the fridge. I'll just give them a quick whip. refrigerator pickles, 6 pints done. These will go in the fridge and I'll let them sit for at least 3 or 4 days before we start eating them, but truly you could eat them at any time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope this video inspires you to make refrigerator pickles. They're so quick and easy, and there are so many different recipes that you can find online. I especially like the one that I just did because of the simplicity of it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to follow along in our journey to homesteading, please subscribe. We would love to have you. If you guys do try this recipe, make sure to leave a comment below and let me know how it came out.